Water. It is. All right. What the deal? What the deal? What? What's good from Germany, though? The guy she's sleeping with. What are y'all talking about? Can I use your tip to make a grilled kebab? What the? Well, y'all here just talking crazy. I clean these glasses a bit. Mama chica, mama. What's good with y'all? Anyway, guys, before we get started, we'll take some questions. So extra questions if you have any. Speak up, speak up.
Maybe.
What's the deal, man?
So when implementing anxiety, do you use it more as like a consequence, or, well, obviously, like, yes, as a consequence, but like, do you ever use it just to like keep her on her toes?
Did you watch?
Or
did you watch the video on anxiety on Patreon?
Yeah, I mean, I watched it a while ago. Yeah,
watch it.
I want to say like 7 months ago.
Watch it again. And there's different types of anxiety. Anxiety doesn't always have to be as a consequence as implementing it just to teach a lesson. It's not always like that. Implementing anxiety is also just long term. We look at some of the studies, like the study that was done in the University of Jerusalem, where they talked about anxiety increases a woman attraction in a relationship. Now, there's different type of anxiety, right? So you need to go back and study that video. I don't want to give too much sauce because we're on live. So you need to go back and look at that. But also, taking away the L word could be looked as anxiety that increase her attraction. So just be careful with that and just understand its points. Even if you take healthy space can be seen as anxiety sometimes, right? Not necessarily saying that you're doing it as a technique, because if you miss me and she gets anxious because she hasn't seen her man in a while, well, that goes to show you that's something that could be seen as healthy. It doesn't always have to be these dramatic situations. The whole point of the anxiety is to fix situations where you have a girl that's unruly, right? But if you're with that person and they don't want to comply to certain demands and commands that you have, but you're doing your part, you can just leave them. But the thing is, a lot of guys don't want to leave these women. So when you don't want to leave these women and you want techniques and tactics to get somebody on the right course and on the right track, then you have to do and implement certain rules.
So if you would say, if your girl's like being like ruly or like comprehensive and like just like, overall being like a good girlfriend, would you stick away or still like implement it?
Well, you don't always,
like more so with like the healthy space.
Well, if you have a good girl, that if something's not broke, don't fix it. But you should always have healthy space in general, right? You should always have healthy space. Healthy space is always going to get you, good results, because I think one of the problems is a lot of these guys, they spend every single waking moment with their girl. You're not having any healthy space. And when do you have the time for that girl to miss you? Right. But implementing anxiety is a little more advanced for situations where you can't get under the control. But I would advise you to go back and look at that video, and there's different types. And I have like 12 different videos on the different types. Go on the search bar and search.
Yeah.
All right. You give really clear examples.
All right. Thank you.
If a woman is not telling you it's coming from a credible source, what are you guys talking about in the comments? So we're going to be talking about a really good topic today, guys. How women don't want good men. More character, don't want him to be broke. Okay. I like that. I hope she stayed for the podcast, because she's talking a lot of hot stuff. Let's see what she got to say. So if a woman is not telling you, it's kind of, I just liked 500 times. Thank you so much. Listen, I like the likes. Please run up the likes. I don't really care too much about gifts and rubies and all that stuff, but please, if you're going to be on the live, run up the likes, please. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. We're talking about fact. You can tell men what women want. Yes, we can tell women. Listen, I would love for you to stay on. I would love for you to have your opinion. And after the podcast, we're going to be taking questions. We're going to have people come up on the panel, and we're going to talk about all this. So I hope you guys stick around for the podcast, take notes, and then anything that you disagree with, we can have a panel. We'll come up and talk, because this is going to be a really good one. And you know, a lot of women have these things. You know, I want a man that's broke. I want a man that's tall. I want a man that's this. Okay, well, do you know what that man wants? Because we know what you want. We hear it all the time. We always hear what women want, right? But let's talk about these things, because y'all be coming to this chat and y'all don't know who y'all fucking with. Y'all don't know who y'all fucking, but please stay, because I want to hear your opinions. And we're going to be talking about you know, good women don't want good men. They don't, because when they get these stipulations and what it comes with, you see that women really just want to do what they want. But if you disagree, please stick around, and we'll talk about it, because we don't like comment warriors, right? Comment warriors are the people that just want to stay in the comments and don't actually want to speak. They just want to, like, you know, but there's no hostility towards anybody. We're gonna talk, but see, this is the thing. Women, they want to get in here and be upset off the rip. But why you feel the need to defend yourself so fast? What is the problem? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, guys, we're gonna get into it. Did you guys have any other questions, guys, on Zoom before I start this podcast? Because once we start, the questions are going to be more geared towards the topic. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I got one, KB.
What's up, Esteban? Shoot.
Just out of the blue. So just recently, I went to Longhorn to go out with the fam to eat, and I kept unlocking eyes with this one chick.
Okay.
So 3 times I'm like, all right, boom, I gotta do something. Like, I'll be stupid if I don't. So I approached the fam, and I'm like, oh, sorry to interrupt, blah blah. And I went up to her, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to see real quick if I could get your Instagram. She's like, okay, yeah, blah blah. She gave me her Instagram. And I just want to know, like, how do I hit her up?
Wait, you approached her with her family?
I mean, yeah, we was done eating, and then, like, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's ballsy of you. Most men don't do that. You know, the one thing, and I've told you this before, the one thing that I don't like when guys do that is there's no rapport built. And that could work for you. Especially if you're ballsy enough to approach her, to go approach her with her family.
Right.
Hitting her up shouldn't be hard. You can just be like, hey, what'd you have to eat that night? Because your plate was looking kind of good. Or you could say it was looking kind of bad. And like, honestly, I genuinely don't like that restaurant, right? So it all depends. Hold on 1 second. I'm live. Let me call you back. But yeah, you could always spin that. That's not hard. The question you're asking is not a big deal, bro.
Yeah.
Be creative. You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool.
All right, so let's get started on today's podcast. Today we're going to be talking about why women don't want good men, and then I think I need you guys to remember this, because when we start taking the questions, it's going to be even more prevalent. It's going to be even more prevalent because there's this notion. Let's just get into it. Who knows what podcast number this is? I think this is 165. Who knows what podcast number we're on? Drop it in the comments if you know what podcast number this is, in fact. Let's see it. I think it's 165. I'm ready to get started. And drop the ones in the chat if you guys are ready to get started. 166. You guys sure about that? I don't think so. Let me double check. Drop the ones in the chat if you guys are ready to get started. 250, bro. You don't even be here. we'll probably be at 250 by like maybe the third quarter. When y'all numbers be off, I know somebody don't even be listening. So the last podcast we did was your success is your best revenge. Let's hear it. All right, 165. I was correct. Got to trust in myself. All right, guys. If you're ready to get started, let's get started. Make sure I got everything. All right. All right, guys. Podcast number 165. 165 episodes. This is great. Like I said, we're on track to do 200 or more episodes this year. This year so far, we haven't done that many, probably only 20. But at this pace, we might be doing maybe more than 200. But the goal this year is 200. I think it's guy's named Robert Dyrdek, the guy who does what's that funny show on MTV where they replicate funniest home videos or something like that. I think it's Ridiculousness, right? The guy who does Ridiculousness as a show. He said he does 200. So I was like, wow, that's great. Now, if I can do that or more, that'll be a great standard for myself, because this is somebody that's on live TV. And if I treat this like a TV show, then hopefully we'll get the type of results that he gets. So let's get started. Women don't want good men. Why do you say that? And I know a lot of women might disagree with that, but the proof is in the pudding. And what I see is a lot of women want to have their way, but they don't want to sacrifice anything. It's almost like a lot of people want to have their cake and eat it too. Now, there are a lot of men that may do that also, but they keep attracting the same kind of men. And usually when they get the good men, they don't want it. They don't want it. So let's get into today's podcast. And that's literally what we're going to be talking about. And then after the podcast, I can't wait to take questions, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that disagree. Usually women. And I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. I just want to have a great discussion, a great back and forth, and understand some of the reasons why these people are disagreeing. And if they don't speak up, well, we know why. Because they got served up on a platter. But if you know how the podcast goes, this is how we normally do it. We play the song, and then right after the song, we get into the podcast, and then we have people come up to speak on the panel and give their opinions. But usually that doesn't go that way, because a lot of people are scared to make themselves sound silly rather. But let's get into the podcast. This is J.O. Say It Ain't. And right after this, we will get into the podcast, and I would love to have guests up for this one, because this is going to be great.
Yeah, nigga.
Ew.
Big Hollywood shit, nigga. We copping that shit you wish you could get. You know what I'm saying? We ain't fucking around out here, man. Fuck you thought it was, nigga. You know how we do it, nigga. We doing back-to-back shit. Ain't no stopping, ain't no motherfucking breaks, nigga. This shit ain't for the weak. So tell them niggas, watch out. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so, got it figured out. Tried to be the nice guy, but now I'm on a different route. Probably got your girlfriend in my crib, just trying to dick her down. And best believe I kick her out if she don't plan on putting out. Yeah, cause I'm a dog, I'm a fucking dog. Got a lot of bitches, but I'm always trying to fuck some more. Yeah, so what you want from a nigga? I done found out the game, and they don't be loving niggas. I'm good, I'm all set. The way I do my own thing, yeah, they all vex. Out here calling shots like a motherfucking rep. Whole time y'all was playing checkers, I was playing chess. Man, this shit a mess. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas, yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, niggas saying ain't so. Saying Ain't so that I'm back, nigga. Tell Shorty that I'm in. She know he a whack, nigga. Doing all that yapping. He just hating cause my stack's bigger. Hit it from the back. I'm the one that got her ass bigger. Yeah, and I'm a boss. I'm a fucking boss. Feeling like I'm Cali, baby. I ain't never took a loss. Nah, and I'm a y'all with the cross. Putting on for my city, and I put that on the cross. So I'm good. I'm all set. Who's real, who's fake? Man, let's put them to the test. I ain't worried about a thing, baby. I ain't never stressed. Ben thought I was that nigga. Man, I must confess. Bitch, I've been the best. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on no niggas, yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't.
All right, guys, that was J.O. Say It Ain't. And let's get into today's topic. And I think this is a really good one. And I think it can cause for a lot of good back and forths. And the topic is women don't want good men. And why do I say that? And I say that because a lot of the times we see women on here, women on this app, women on the internet talking about, I should be able to post explicit photos. I should be able to twerk. I should be able to do single activities with my friends. I should be able to come and go as I please, right? And my man shouldn't question me. You know, earlier I heard a girl say, well, I don't understand how I have twerking videos on my Instagram or all over my page, right? But then my man doesn't look at my page, but he gives other women attention. You don't want a good man. Women that say stuff like that, they don't want a good man. They don't want boundaries, right? And what do you call a good man? A man that's willing to comply and commit to you, whatever arrangement that you guys have, because that's what relationships are. They're arrangements. Some believe in polygyny, some believe in monogamy, some believe in polygamy, right? Some, and it's really what it is. Some people have situationships. Some people are friends with benefits. Whatever those conditions and boundaries that you set, which most people don't really do, they don't set boundaries. But we would say, according to society, a good man is a man that's willing to commit to a monogamous relationship, a man that is willing to stay loyal, a man is willing to take care of you and take care of his duties and responsibilities that society or that the world, or you can even say that God has put on him. A God-fearing man, a man with morals and ethics, a man that's not willing to tolerate anything. For example, you have a lot of women that say, well, I should be able to post whatever I want. Well, that for some men, that can vary. That can, well, he doesn't want you to post any booty shorts. He may not like the bikini pictures, right? He may not like you posting, a picture or a skirt with your titties out, right? Some men may not like that. Some men may be okay with a dress. Some men may not even want you to show your curves. So let's say this type of man is doing everything that he should do. Nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But let's say this man is doing everything that he should do. Say if he has his own place, he has his own car, maybe more than one car. Let's say if he's making $60K a year, because your average man isn't making $200K. Your average man isn't making $400K. According to the IRS, and this is 2022 statistics, 1% of family homes make $400,000 and up in America. That's 1%. Most of you on here don't even know that person. You probably won't even come across them. If you do come across them, you don't know them in your personal life. So let's say you have a man that's making about $60K a year, slightly above average, the average being $54,000 a year, right? Say if he has his own place, he has his own car, maybe an additional car, he allows you to move into his house. He's paying his own bills. You don't have to pay any bills, right? Any rent or mortgage, right? All you have to do is pay your phone bill, maybe your car note, and maybe you buy some food here and there. And he says, I don't want you posting twerking videos, right? I don't want you having a guy best friend. When your friends go out to clubs and do single things and single woman activities, I don't want you doing that. A lot of women are opposed to this. You know why? Because when a lot of men say, well, hey, listen, I don't want you to go out with your friends when they go to the club. I don't want you to go out with your friends when they go to the bar. And hypothetically speaking, all your friends are single. Why do you not see the problem with that? Why do you not see the problem with that? Because good men are not tolerating that. Good men aren't tolerating that. They're not. Good men don't want to tolerate that, and they're not going to tolerate that. But see, women tend to say, oh, well, you're insecure. You're insecure, and because you're insecure, just say that. I don't understand why you have so many insecurities. Excuse me? And this is why I say women think that they're emotionally intelligent. I say women lack emotional intelligence. They do. And I don't understand how anyone could disagree that women lack emotional intelligence. Because if you understood what emotional intelligence is, why would you continue to do things that your partner has a problem with? Because if I say, hey, and not even coming to you combative, not being controlling, if I say, hey, listen, baby, I really don't like the fact that you and your friends go out to the club. I really don't like the fact that you and your friends go to bars and you go bar hopping. And I'm your boyfriend. They're single. They don't have boyfriends. You're doing single activities with women that don't have men. You're putting yourself and you're subjecting yourself to situations where you can be courted, where men may try to talk to you, where men may try to date you, where men may try to holler at you. I don't like that. And when a woman responds, oh, you're just insecure. Why are you so insecure? Why can't I go out with why are you being so controlling? The woman that says that lacks emotional intelligence, because if she was intelligent enough, if she had the intellect to understand how that would make him feel emotionally, if she understand how that made him feel emotionally, she wouldn't do that. The women that say, oh, I'm looking good for myself. I'm going out for myself. No, you're looking for attention. You're looking for attention, right? The women that say, I don't understand. How can you tell me what to do with my body? How can you? Because you lack emotional intelligence. If you knew better, you would do better. I don't understand how somebody can say that. And this is another thing. And this is another thing, how you know women lack emotional intelligence. When a woman says, hey, well, I think that me having this guy friend, he doesn't ask me. I don't go out with him. We don't hang out alone. He's just a friend. He's just a friend. So you don't have enough intelligence and enough awareness, enough emotional intelligence to know how that would make me feel. Right? You don't have enough emotional intelligence to, and the awareness to understand how that would make a man feel, because you lack emotional intelligence. You lack emotional intelligence, right? If I said, hey, babe, I don't want you to, I think that dress is a little too revealing. I would like it if you went back in the house, and I would really respect it if you changed. And you said, no, why are you being secure? Listen, I'm going to wear what I want. Is that not a lack of emotional intelligence, because you can't acknowledge, you don't understand how that would make your man feel? Right? And this is the problem. This is the problem. And women don't understand that. You don't want a good man. But see, look, so when you put out a certain energy, you attract a certain energy back. You understand that, right? So when a lot of women are attracting men that cheat, attracting men that have multiple women, you want a good man, you want a good looking man, you want a man that's making a certain amount of money. You want a man that can look good. You want your man to be a certain height, right? You want your man to do all these things. But if a man starts to put boundaries on you, what happens? Oh, you have a problem with it. Right? So let's look at some statistics. So there was a survey taken, and I ran across a survey when I was looking at some of the surveys for the IRS and the Census Bureau of about men who make a lot of money. And so there was a survey taken for people that work at hedge funds. Now, if you know anything about hedge funds make and manage billions of dollars every year. And in this hedge fund, the lowest income in this hedge fund was $250,000. Now, I would think it was about maybe 120 men were questioned, right? 120 men. Now, 86 or 85% of these men were married. And they were asked, would you allow your wife or significant other to have a best friend? Guess which percentage said no? Take a second to guess. Take a second. 96% said no. And these are men that fall into the 1%, and these are men that fall into the 15%. And no, more than 15%, because 15% is 100,000. The lowest income there was $250,000 a year. So, and I think the other 5 or 4% of men that said yes, they said yes with boundaries. What were some of those boundaries? We're not going to be hanging out alone. You and that best friend. You're not going to be talking to this person or texting this person after a certain time. You're not going to be, you're not going to be hanging out with this person alone. There's boundaries. Good men come with boundaries. And I don't understand how a lot of people think that this is okay. Right? A lot of people think that this is okay. Rich men don't deal with that shit. Now, granted, I wouldn't say I fall into the 1%. I don't. I'm not going to lie. I don't fall into the 1%. But I know the first time I made 10K, life got 10K in a month, rather. Life got a lot easier. Right? Just to give you an idea. But my rich clients, the guys who make 50K a month, 70K a month, and these are kids that are doing drop shipping. And most of these guys are younger than me, making 500K a month, 50K a month, pulling in $500,000 a year. I had one client who for like 8 months, he was making $400,000 a month on a project that he was doing. They don't deal with that shit. They don't. And then you see the cycle, and I think it correlates. Well, you look at society, women are getting married less and less and less and less. They're getting married less and less and less. And why is that? Because women think that they can do what they want. And it's not like I'm saying, guys, oh, well, you shouldn't take care of your wife. I tell guys, I get on it. We don't do 50-50, right? I don't commend and I don't recommend going half on things, right? I think if you want to have a family, if you want to ever have a family, you have to be able to take care of her and that family on your own. Not saying that she has to pay for nothing, but you have to have the potential to do that. You have to have the potential to do that. I agree with that. So if anything, you would say I'm more in favor of women because all these motherfuckers who broke, trying to run that broke shit, you can't do it. Don't even have the family. Don't even do it. Leave the girl alone. You should. I tell young guys all the time, guys who pay me for phone calls, KB, oh, I have this girl. I'm trying to have a rotation of girls, but you can't afford dates. Don't date. Don't go on dates. If you have a girl that's willing to accept you in your circumstances and she's willing to say, okay, I know you don't have a lot of money, but I'm willing to still date you. I'm willing to struggle with you until you get better. Fine. You can accept those girls. But it's not like I'm saying, oh, oppressing women and I'm being an oppressor and I'm being controlling and misogynistic. No, I think that men should take care of women. But what's the trade-off? You can't say you want a man to take care of you and you're not sacrificing anything. And there's no type of trade-off. Well, yeah, I want you to take care of me and pay on my bills, but I'm going to still go out to the club. I'm going to still hang out with my friends. I'm going to still go on girl trips all alone. Because men with money don't do that shit. And most of the men with money that I see, they either have the money or they're super religious. So the men that are not rich, because for some reason, I attract a lot of Muslim and Christian men who I guess subscribe to my ideology because I don't necessarily consider myself red-pilled, right? I still think that you can have love. I still think that you can show love. I still think that you can be loved. But when you have a man that's willing to do all those things, right? When you have a man that's willing to take care of you, when you have a man that's God-fearing, right? But you say, I'm going to still go out. I'm going to still go. I'm going to still do what I want to do. I'm going to still have pictures. I'm going to still do all this stuff. I'm a student. And honestly, men have to take accountability for this too, because you guys continue to wife these women. You continue to wife these women. You accept any and everything. I know guys that can call me up, hey, KB, well, you know, this girl, she fire. She fire, bro. Yo, let me show you her pictures. Girl's half naked. Yo, she likes me. Should I wife her? No. All right, so you want your girlfriend to be posting pictures like that? If you got the girl and she's already been doing that, how can you get mad at her when you ask her to stop? So there has to be accountability on both parts, but a woman have to understand. Those good men, those 1 out of 3 men in America that are virgins, right? 1 out of 3 men in America are virgins. And then I think it was like, I think 1 out of those 3 are waiting for marriage. So they have a level of religiosity. I don't think women understand that. 5 out of 10 men in America go a year without having sex. And a lot of this time, it's not because they are incels. Well, yeah, maybe. But a lot of the times men, they don't have the luxury. They don't have the luxury of having a lot of women. They don't have the luxury of just having women readily and available for them. Right? So when you say that, oh, well, you know, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, is that fair? Is that not fair? Right? Women have all these standards, but when men have standards, it's a problem. Oh, you're misogynistic. The misogyny. What? So let's get this straight. So women, you want a man that's tall. Okay, cool. That's fine. Whatever. That's a small percentage of society anyway. So you're probably not going to get it, but that's fine. Okay, cool. Let's not shoot down anybody. Let's not shoot down anybody. You want a man that's tall. You want a man that's making a certain amount of money. You want a man that's not broke. You want a man that is going to be monogamous, stay loyal to you, and treat you good, right? You want all this in a man. Okay, so that's your standards. And if they don't meet those standards, you don't want them. Cool. I respect it. So let's talk about what men with standards. Men with standards. So a lot of my guys that speak to me, that pay me for advice, they don't want a girl that has more than 5 bodies. And that's on the more lenient side. Some of these guys, they're not wifing a girl that has more than 2 bodies. And the reality of it is, I try to tell them most of the time, you're probably not going to even know that. You're probably never even going to get the chance to even hear that, right? A lot of men said they want a woman to get married. They want a woman to get married. So if they're a virgin, they want a virgin too. You know how many women would be disqualified if men had standards as harsh as women did? Right? A lot of men said, well, I don't want her going out clubbing. I don't want no guy best friends. I don't want her to be half naked on social media, right? I don't want her to be overweight. I want her to look good for me. You know how many women would be eliminated if men's standards were just as high as women? And my thing is, and you know, the thing that I understand, why do women get so upset? Why do women get so upset at that? Like, why do you get mad? Why do women get so upset? Right? I don't understand. It's like women are allowed to have these high standards, but me as a man, even if I have an opinion, even if I speak on it, oh, misogyny. What about misandry? You guys are implementing misandry. You hate men. Automatically, women be like, oh, men ain't shit. Men, why are you generalizing all men? When a lot of men are single, right? Good men come with demands and commands. You can't say that, oh, I want a man to do this, I want a man to do that, and then not offer anything in return. What are you offering in return? I can cook and clean. Okay, I can cook and clean for myself. I can cook and clean for myself. How is that not fair? How is that not fair? I don't understand. I don't understand. And this is the thing. So there was a survey done, and I'll end this off with this, and we can take questions because I see they're going crazy in the comments. This shit is crazy. So there was four studies, 4 cases, 4 surveys that they took, public interviews, right? Asking men, would you date a woman that did OnlyFans? 7 out of 10 men said flat out no, right? And the 3 out of 4 men that said yes, 3 said no to having sex with other men and no to having sex with them on camera. So that left with one out of 10 men amongst these 4 surveys, with the exception of 1, said that they wouldn't date a woman with OnlyFans. That they would date a woman with OnlyFans even if she was having sex with other men. Listen, my point is, women keep dating the same kind of men. Especially, and I don't want to make this a race thing, but especially amongst the Black community, it's like 15% of men, 15, 20% of men are impregnating most of the women, according to statistics. Why? Because you keep choosing the same kind of men, and it says it. If you say half of the men in the society are single, or 40% of a certain amongst the population, 1 out of 3 men are virgins in the United States. 1 out of 5 out of 10 men go a year without having sex. What does that say? You keep choosing the same men, but then have commands and demands. We don't see the issue here. Right? We don't see the issue here. Like, I don't understand why that this is such a problem. What are you fighting for? And if I say that a man's supposed to take care of most things, I feel like I'm in favor. I get on men the same way. If you can't afford to go on dates, stop dating. Stop dating, right? But women don't understand this. They don't. That men with standards, men with boundaries are the good men. And these good men are not dealing with that. Now, I know a lot of you in situations or relationships with men that are cheating on you. Not all. Not all. But a lot of them are. And then a lot of you want oh, my man don't do this. He don't complain about this. But does your man really care? You posting half naked photos, you twerking on the internet. Does your man really care? Listen, I'm not here to bash anybody. Because according to Amber Rose, it's okay. And that's fine. But is Amber Rose married? That's a goal for women, to be married. Some men don't really care for marriage. Some do. But the good men want to be married. Good men want to be married. But the good men have boundaries. They're just not accepting anything. And that is the issue. And this is the problem. Go. And if I say this, fellas, if you're dealing with a woman and you want to take her serious and her goal is not marriage, you need to get away from her. Stop dating these women. And this is why I say you don't just jump into relationships. And this goes for both men and women. You get to know somebody before you just jump into a relationship. You get to know them, right? And before you get to know them, you have to make sure certain boxes are checked off. Not all, because you don't want to be unrealistic. We don't want everything. You're never going to find somebody that is 100% perfect, realistically. But if she can pass the test, she get a 7 or 8 out of 10. When I was in school, a 60 was failing. 65 was, I think, just passing. But if she can get an 8 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, that's passing. These are the women you wife. But then a lot of women are also just dating just to date. They're not dating for marriage. But stop wifing these kind of women who think that this is okay. Yeah, they're good to have fun with. They're good to just, like, have sex with. Don't wife them. But anyway, guys, and this is the good part. So we're going to end this podcast off and we're going to take some questions. So if you feel as if women do want good men, if you had to disagree with anything that I had to say, I would like for you to come up on the podcast. But I want to preface this by saying we will not be disrespectful. We will not be rude. There will be structure to these debates. No one will be cutting anyone off. You would get 3 warnings before you talk about cutting someone off, before you're told about cutting someone off, before you kick it off the panel. So we're going to end this song off with J.O. Say It Ain't. This song is not out yet, but it will be soon. And then we'll take some questions. So send your request up now. So this way we can get into these debates. This is going to be the good part.
Yeah, nigga. This is that big Hollywood shit, nigga. You copping that shit you wish you could get. You know what I'm saying? We ain't fucking around out here, man. Fuck you thought it was, nigga. You know how we do it, nigga. We doing back-to-back shit. Ain't no stopping, ain't no motherfucking breaks, nigga. This shit ain't for the weak. So tell them niggas, watch out. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me. Niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, got it figured out. Try to be the nice guy, but now I'm on a different route. Probably got your girlfriend in my crib, just trying to dick her down. And best believe I kick her out if she don't plan on putting out. Yeah, cause I'm a dog, I'm a fucking dog. Got a lot of bitches, but I'm always trying to fuck some more. Yeah, so what you want from a nigga? I done found out the game, and they don't be loving niggas. I'm good, I'm all set. The way I do my own thing, yeah, they all vex. Out here calling shots like a motherfucking rep. Whole time y'all was playing checkers, I was playing chess. Man, this shit a mess. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me. Niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. That I'm back, nigga. Tell shorty that I'm in. She don't hear whack, nigga. Doing all that yapping. He just saying cause my stack's bigger. Hit it from the back. I'm the one that got her ass bigger. Yeah, and I'm a boss. I'm a fucking boss. Feeling like a Cali, baby. I ain't never took a loss. Nah, and I made y'all with the cross. Putting on for my city, and I put that on the cross. So I'm good. I'm all set. Who's real, who's fake? Now let's put them to the test. I ain't worried about a thing, baby. I ain't never stressed. Ben thought I was that nigga. Man, I must confess. Bitch, I've been the best. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me. Niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't.
All right, guys, that was J.O. Say It Ain't. Now, what I want to do is I want to speak on this. And guys on my Zoom, you can chime in at any time. And that's one of the perks and the benefits from being on Patreon. So you can always chime in at any time. But we got some rules for the debate here on Patreon. I mean on TikTok. So anyway, before you speak, just say your name and where you're from, and then tell me what you disagree with. So I think pathway to what's that, Sal? South. Okay. What's your name? Where you from?
Hi, I'm Natalie, originally from Jamaica, but currently I'm in Florida.
Okay, wagwan.
Yeah.
What's up? What do you disagree with? What's your frustrations?
I have no frustrations, really. Just, kind of wanted to share my viewpoint.
Okay.
I think we have this idea that, men and women are monoliths and we all want and desire the same thing, right? But we don't think in herd mentality. We all have different desires, different wants in a relationship. And I don't think it's about women conforming to one way of being to, kind of pacify the emotions of someone else. I think it's more so about finding someone that is compatible with your needs, right? If you have a specific set of needs, you know yourself deeply, you know yourself truly, and you have a specific set of needs within a relationship, then seek out someone that's compatible with that, right? Not everyone is going to be compatible with that. Not everyone wants the same outcome in a relationship, right? So I don't think, it is necessarily fair or, warranted for any person to say, man or woman, to say that their partner needs to conform to all these specific things, or, you know, I don't think it means that they're a bad person if they're not able to conform to that. It just means that they're not compatible with you, right? So if I'm with someone, if I have a partner and I want to go out with my single friends, then, you know, we should have a certain level of trust within our relationship that I'm able to do that, a certain level of understanding that, you know, I'm able to do that as it is my life, and I do make choices about myself and my body, where I go, what I wear, what I do. And I'm going to seek out a partner that is okay with that, right? I'm not going to find someone that has a need to be controlling of what it is that I do, where I go, what I wear, you know?
Okay. Question. So what would you define as a good man?
You know, I think we are all individuals that are healing on our journeys. You know, I don't think necessarily there's a bad man or a good man. We're just all people.
That wasn't my question. I asked you, how would you define it? Because we have to preface this argument around the topic. The topic was women don't want good men, right? So if I'm saying women don't want good men, but these are the standards, because everybody has standards, just like you said. If I want a man, right? If I want somebody who's compatible with me, I want somebody who's going to do this. Well, just like you have those standards for yourself is compatibility, men also have standards, whereas they're saying, well, that's fine. You want somebody that's compatible. Well, these are my standards for the relationship. Now, the compatibility parts come where they match. So my questions for you, so we can preface this conversation around the topic on which it is, what do you define as a good man?
All right, so I guess for me, what I would define as someone that would be more compatible with me is someone that is okay with my freedom. I personally am polyamorous, right? And I see relationships as evolving, as growing, people, you know, being more open with the differences that they desire in relationships. For me, I'm seeking someone that is also open and understanding, and also their freedom is important to them, right? So
by poly, do you mean polygamy or polygyny?
No, polyamory.
Yeah, but those are subsets that fall under it. So polygyny is a man that is dating or has wives or a multitude of women that are just for him. Now, polygamy is being in a relationship where you can have sex with anyone. So I'm asking you, which subcategory are you falling under?
Yeah, definitely not polygyny.
Okay.
But it would be, you know, the parameters set within the relationship.
So give me, okay, that's cool. So give me some definitions of how you would define your good man. Because you said value gives you your freedom. All right. Okay. Well, that's polygamy. So that's you know, you're polygamous. So that's kind of out of the question. I'm just talking about a description of this good man.
Someone that has a level of depth, you know, is able to discuss deep topics, you know, with a certain level of intelligence. Someone that is considerate, compassionate, someone that understands their own soul, knows themselves, has worked through and healed through their own traumas, so that they're not projecting any of those traumas into the relationship. Someone that doesn't necessarily need my attention all the time. You know, someone that is good on their own and recognizes their power and their ability to stand on their own, and that recognizes that a partnership isn't about controlling, but about equality and standing together and standing side by side, rather than one kind of domineering the other, right? For me, it doesn't have anything to do with finances. You know, I have my own job. I am able to provide for myself, so I don't need someone that's able to do that for me.
Mm-hmm. So your idea of a good man is a man that's going to let you do whatever you want. He gets to do whatever he wants. He doesn't he's not controlling. You have freedom and free will to do whatever you want. So you don't really, a good man is a man that doesn't really give you a relationship structure, because You just said that, well, I want a man that is going to let me do what he wants. His money doesn't matter. So you can date somebody who's effectively has no structure. You can date somebody who's broke. You can date somebody who is just about having sex with anybody. So that's your idea of a good man.
Well, no, if there was someone about, because for me, polyamory isn't just about having sex with anybody. It's also about building connections. So we would determine the parameters of our relationship within that and what that would look like.
But you said we determine. So how does that work when you just said that? Kind of sounds like you're putting restraints on them now. Because if you just said you want a man that's going to let you do whatever you want,
we would have open communication.
Okay, well, open communication. So you don't really want a man that's going to bring structure to a relationship. You want a man that's going to give you freedom and do whatever you want.
But within that, there's also, I mean, I think you're also kind of putting some words in my mouth. But
I didn't put any words in your mouth. I'm just summarizing. I'm summarizing.
It's not necessarily about just doing whatever it is that you want. It's just recognizing that, you know, we each want some sense of freedom. I want to be able to, if on the off chance I make a connection with someone to know that, you know, there are parameters within which I can explore that.
Yeah, but that's the point. There's no structure. There's no rules. There's no boundaries.
There definitely are rules and boundaries.
Well, you didn't. Well, when I asked you what's a good man, you just said someone who is not judgmental, someone who gives you your freedom.
But all the boundaries, the parameters, those are going to be created once you get to know the person. You can't create that before. I have to understand who that person is.
But see, this is what I'm telling you, and I think that I think that even still, you are in a small minority of people. That's first and foremost, and that's okay because that's what you want and that's what you believe in. I think that you're still in a small minority, and I still think that majority of people and majority of women, and to preface this around the topic, women don't want good men. They don't want that, and I would say that according to society, right, by women's and society standards, you don't necessarily want a good man because I listen, baby. I could be let me finish. I can be a perfect matchmaker for you. I can find you the perfect man, and you can find a nice connection with him. How you want it? You want him black, white, Hispanic? I found a perfect man for you because there are a lot of men. I think a lot of men fit your description far as what you want. I don't think a lot of men would take you serious, honestly, unless they fall into that category of doing whatever you want. But that's a relationship that doesn't have any structure. Because if I just asked you, what are your boundaries? What are things that you find in a good man? And you can't tell me, you basically want somebody who's going to let you do whatever you want. And then that also means he gets to do whatever he wants. Now, do you have any boundaries for this type of relationship?
Yeah, open and honest communication.
Okay, and that's it?
Being able to truly, express when it is that you find someone that you want to explore a connection with, and, kind of seeing if that's something that is a source of discomfort, a source of,
okay,
always checking in and making sure that, we're still feeling the same way. We're still, sometimes I think within polyamory, there can be jealousy and insecurities that come up, right? Especially if it's a thing where.
Okay, so question: you're okay with being at the clinic and catching STDs that maybe you can't get rid of?
Said absolutely nothing about just having sex with a bunch of people.
Connections. Wait. Time out. Stop. I'm going based off what you said. You literally just said that the only boundaries is open communication and being honest. So if he said, I'm being open with you, and hey, well, I'm going to go hook up with this girl. I think she's beautiful. I have a great connection with her. Here, let me show you her picture. And that girl has an STD. And then he comes back and or there's no disclosure of what she has, and you guys all hook up together. So you didn't say your only boundary was honesty and great communication. So you being in that open relationship without setting boundaries.
That would all fall within that.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You didn't set any boundaries. Listen, my whole point is your ideal man and your ideal relationship has no structure. There's no rules. And you say, well, I want a man that's going to let me do whatever I want, and he can do whatever he wants. Anything goes. And when you let anything goes, you open yourself up. Let me finish. When you will let anything goes, you open yourself up to a lot of stuff, is my point. And this is why I think personally, and I know personally, that you need some type of structure to your relationship. When you let anything goes, you subjugate yourself to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I definitely did not say anything goes. I think within this platform.
Well, when I asked you to set boundaries.
Yeah, but you know, it's not the easiest thing to just come up with all this. This is not something that I think about constantly. It's not something that I have a written list down of what it is I need and require in relationships. Those are things that you develop throughout the relationship, that you develop through connection with the person and through getting to know them and understanding ourselves more through the relationship, understanding that person more through the relationship.
Okay, listen.
I don't have a set of rules, and I cannot claim to have it all figured out. I definitely don't. But right now in this moment, what it is that I know is that freedom is an important part of it. Openness and communication is an important part of it. Truly understanding yourself and being secure within yourself is an important part of it.
Okay. Well, I'm just letting you know. I respect what you said. I don't think it's for everybody. And I think most people aren't going to agree with you. And I even think some of the women that are not liking what I'm saying in the comments still won't agree with that. Right. And my thing is, let me finish. And I also think that with that and what you're saying, and this is the reason why good men have standards, because there's structure to your relationship. When you don't have rules, you live like animals, right? The animals don't have rules. They do as they please. You have structure. And what makes a society a society? What makes men civil? We have rules. There's structure to a society. You just don't do as you please. And when you say that, and this is why I say, you said, well, those things come along. And I do agree to a point. There are some boundaries that will be set in a relationship, but you have to have boundaries set before a relationship. I'll tell you a story of John Busa. John Busa got broken up with his girl. Oh, shit. I probably should have never said his last name, but one of my old clients, rather. He got broken up with his girl because, they didn't set boundaries on what was considered cheating. So he was saw at a bar, right, by his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend's little sister said, oh, yeah, I saw John at the bar dancing with girls. So John had no idea that she considered that cheating, because that was never a discussion, and it was never a topic that they had, and it was never a boundary that they set. He didn't kiss a girl. He didn't have sex with that girl. He didn't do anything. But because he failed to set boundaries at the beginning of that relationship, he was considered a cheater, and he lost his relationship with a girl that he loved. This is why you have to set boundaries at the beginning of a relationship, because you get into a situation, you find out you don't like something. Oh, I'm done. We got to break up. No, you set boundaries. You let people know what you expect at the beginning. Because if you don't do that, now, like you said, well, I said, what are some of your boundaries? And I said, well, as long as the communication, all right, you tell that to a guy, he's going to take it and run with it. He's going to take it and run with it. Okay, well, I'm having sex with this girl, that girl. I'm having sex with 5 different girls. I'm letting you know, and I'm doing that. And you know what? I got a great connection with them, and I got a connection with you too. Are you okay with that? And they doing it raw.
But that would be one of the parameters that we would talk about, because for me, polyamory is not about just having sex with everyone. So that would be something that we would talk about. And I definitely get that not everyone is going to agree with me. 100%. Do not expect that. I don't expect anyone to agree with me. I am 100% okay with that, right? For me, I think everyone's relationship, that's their thing. And they're going to define and, create what that looks like for them. My thing isn't, about my relationship being what other people's should be like. It's just that recognizing that everyone's relationship is going to be their own creation, and it doesn't have to follow any structure outside of what those two individuals want, right?
Okay, well, thank you for that. I appreciate what you had to say. I just think, well, I don't think, I know You know, you have to have structure. And I think your idea of a good man is, I think, is a little left. And I don't think you actually really gave it a definition. So I'm going to conclude that maybe you're not 100% sure what you know. Do you ever? So I'm assuming if you get married, these are the same the parameters you'll put around the marriage.
Well, I don't necessarily want to get married.
Okay.
I was married before, and that's not necessarily something I'm looking to do again.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so let's get the next person on here. How do you say your name? Nadpo? How do you say your username?
You can call me Nevea.
Nemea?
Nevea.
Nevea. Okay, Nevea. How you doing? Where you from?
I'm doing good. I'm from Virginia Beach.
Okay, Virginia in the house. I see you. So what exactly did you disagree with today?
I didn't agree with anything she was saying first. To that.
Okay.
She's different. She's polyamorous, so she's gonna have different views. But in like a standard modern relationship, I honestly feel like if you want that modest woman that doesn't dress a certain way, that doesn't post certain things, then it's absolutely your 100% right not to go for those women, and also not try to pursue those women, because it's very hard to try and change a person.
Right.
They're stuck in their ways and they're stuck in their actions. The point, trying to change somebody else, it can honestly ruin your viewpoint and try to destroy you as a person.
You said trying to chase?
So, no, like trying to change.
Okay.
Trying to change that person into like, oh, well, I don't like that you post this, or I don't like that you do OnlyFans. Go for that woman who already doesn't do that stuff.
Okay, so I have a question for you before you continue. To preface this around the topic, what do you consider a good man?
A good man, I consider myself as a person who is very connected with himself. He loves himself, respectful. He definitely knows what he wants. He definitely has his own standards, not just looks wise, but mentally how he wants his woman to be. Not necessarily using social media as a negative tool, but like in like a positive way, like how you come in here and do podcasts, which can be a positive way to use social media. Just a woman, not a woman, just a man that's really connected with himself, and the more that you're connected with yourself and the more that you love yourself, you're able to give that love out.
Okay, so basically a man that understands his standards, a man that has boundaries and has standards, and he knows what he wants. That's what you consider a good man.
Respectful.
Okay, respectful.
From the top of my head, that's all I can name.
Okay, so let's get this right. Respectful. A man who has standards, knows what he wants, and has boundaries, and he's respectful to you, and
connected to himself.
And connected to himself. Okay, so that's what you consider a good man.
Yes.
So if this man, so you kind of sound like the first lady. So if he cheated on you, if he had other girls, if he was married, necessarily, you said as long as he doesn't use his social media in a certain way. So this is your boundaries for what you consider a good man.
Cheating is not acceptable for me.
Okay, well, you have to say that. This is why I'm saying I'm not exactly sure if women know what they want, because I asked you to tell me what you think a good man is, and you didn't even say anything about the main parts of a relationship. All you said was what he wanted. That's for me. Don't tell me I'm not trying to hear bare minimum. Don't come with it, because if I tell a woman you shouldn't be posting half naked photos and she disagrees with it, I say that's the bare minimum. So you have to tell people what you want. You have to set boundaries. You can't say bare minimum. Nothing is the bare minimum.
I mean, it's kind of common sense.
No, that's not common sense. If you speak to the last lady, that's not common sense. You had a woman just say that everything was a go. So when somebody asks you, no. So when somebody asks you what you want, you have to tell them. Closed mouths don't get fed. You can't have unexpected expectations, especially if you don't set these boundaries at the beginning. So you can't say, well, that's common. No, speak on it. So when I ask you one more time, what do you consider a good man, aside from him being respectful, aside from him having his boundaries and standards and knowing what he wants, and not using social media for negativity? What do you consider a good man? Let's try this one more time.
Well, I'm not polyamorous, so I don't feel like I tell a man, hey, don't cheat on me and don't go after women. Because if we're in a relationship, then that's something that you would also expect me to do as a woman, to not lust over other men and to not talk to other men and to not also sleep with them. So I don't feel like me saying, oh, don't cheat with another woman. I don't think that's required. Maybe.
No, listen. That's not what I asked you. Please, I'm being respectful and patient. I'm asking you, to simply answer the question. What do you consider a good man? I didn't ask you. We know you're not polyamorous, right? But I'm asking you, give me a standard for which you think a good man is, because as of right now, it sounds like you don't know what that is. I'm asking you so we can have this conversation and move forward.
A man who knows what he wants, a man who doesn't cheat, who's loyal, who's honest, connected with his emotions. Oh, like I just let the connection flow.
So you don't have any standards for marriage. You're okay with just anything.
I do want to get married, of course, but I'm talking about just like regular dating relationship wise, not marriage yet.
Okay, so what if this man says, okay, hey, my standard is, I don't think that your guy friends, I don't want that. I think that, and he gives you everything you want. Let's say if he's loyal, he's honest, respectful, he's not going to cheat on you, he's all about you, you're on a screensaver and everything. He's all about you, right? Right? He's all about you, but his standard is, we not doing guy best friends. I don't want you wearing any explicit clothing on the internet. When you go out with your friends and they're doing single things like going out to clubs and bars, I don't want that. But yeah, you can go out to eat with them. That's fine. But when they're doing single activities, I don't want you going out with them. And when you do go out with them, I don't want you dressed up to the nine as if you were going out with me. What if those were some of his standards? Would that be okay with you?
With the guy friend thing, I only have one guy friend. I don't like having multiple guy friends because I know a lot of guys are usually friends with women they find attractive. So I do understand where he can come saying, like, I don't want that. But if my guy friend hasn't given you a reason to say these things and you just want me to cut him off, especially if I knew him before you, and like that's my best friend, I look at him as a friend. If you're just doing it just to say, hey, I don't want it, then find somebody who fits that.
Okay, cool. So because you have a best friend, so think about how that sounds. You have a best friend that you're willing to give up somebody who's willing to give you everything you want. Loyal, respectful, monogamy, all about you, and knows what he wants. You said he knows what he wants. This is what he wants. He wants a man with standard. He's a man with standards and boundaries. And this is one of his boundaries. He says, I don't want the best friend. It's not an if and buts about it. I don't need a reason. It's just what I want. That's simple. I'm giving you what you want. Here's the trade-off. I don't want the best friend. So you're willing to sacrifice this perfect man, what you considered a standard good man. You're willing to cut that off because for your best friend.
Yes.
So why don't you be in a relationship with your best friend if you're willing to sacrifice other men for him?
Because he's my friend.
Are you sure?
What's the reason? Why should I cut him off though? Is it just because he's a guy?
Because good men come with boundaries, and if you're not willing to comply, you said that's what?
That's perfectly fine. Have your statement. That is way perfectly fine.
Okay, so and do you have a boyfriend now?
No.
Well, listen, I'm not going to get into that, but you have to understand. Okay, so look, I'll even go a step further. I'll make it a little easy for you, right? Let's say if this man said, hey, so you could, because let's say the 5% of that study that I gave for people with hedge funds, he says, okay, well, listen, you can have your best friend, but peep this, ain't gonna be no hanging out alone, ain't gonna be no talking on the phone after 8 p.m. Ain't gonna be no going on dates. Anything that I find inappropriate with you and that best friend, not happening. But you can still have them. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's a standard.
Okay, I mean, well, some men will be okay with that, but most men would say no. But the crazy part is, you had a man that was perfectly fine, but said, "Hey, I'm not willing to do that. I don't want that, and I'm not willing to have a best friend." And you were willing to let that man go. Does that not sound just a bit off?
Why? Can I ask you a question?
Okay, ask it.
Why are you telling me not to be friends with him? Is it just because he's a male, or is it because you feel like I am cheating on you?
Well, it has nothing to do with just, well, you could say because he's a male. A lot of men don't believe, and a lot of men have the philosophy that men and women genuinely can and will not just be just friends, right? You look at a lot of situations. I speak to guys on a daily, right? And what I see with a lot of guys that I speak to personally, that their girlfriend or their wife, best friends, it's usually not so much with wives, but so much with their best friends. That man usually wants her in some type of way. So I have a technique where I say, well, we're going to test to see if that man actually wants you. And I would say 98% of the time when they implement that certain test that I give them, that man wants them in a sexual way, in a romantic way. And furthermore, sometimes even when women know this, well, I'm not doing anything with him, why can't you just trust me? Because that is not acceptable. And you wouldn't like it on the other way around. And even still, why would I be with someone and I know you have a man that's orbiting around you and waiting for his opportunity? Does that sound appropriate to you?
Him having friends of the opposite gender, yes.
Knowing that they want him.
Knowing that they want him, no. But my guy friend doesn't want me.
And how do you know that 100%? How do you know that?
We can do it. We can test it. We can be midnight. You can tell me, hey, test your guy best friend and see if he wants to come over and do something. We can do that. That's perfectly fine with me.
Okay.
But it's like I understand if the man has any flirting. I understand and knows that they used to or used to have sex. But if it's a genuine friendship, like they're literally just friends and nothing else, then I don't see.
And do you want to be married one day?
Yes, probably when I turn 30.
Why are you waiting so long?
I don't want to. I want to find myself first. I want to travel, not because of men or anything. I want to travel the world by myself first, and I want to find myself and I want to get money, but I also want to open like a coffee shop somewhere else.
And you don't think that your options will run out? You don't think your options will be a lot more limited when you're 30 years old?
No.
You realize that when the older women get, you're not at your physical prime, and you understand that you don't operate like men. Well, men usually hit their prime from anywhere from 29 to about maybe 35, where statistically men are making more money. Men are at their peak at strength. Even when you look at athletes, they're at their peak. So when you say that I'm going to wait till 30 years old to get married, are you going to have any standards for this marriage?
Yes, of course.
So,
I'm probably going to meet him before I turn 30. I'm saying like I want to be married by 30. But anything.
So what if you meet? How old are you now?
I'm 23.
Wow. So what if you meet a man and you're dating him for 2-3 years, and he says, and this is a good man, and he says, well, hey, you're 27 now. You guys are the same age. He wants to get married. Or you meet him at 26. He says he wants to get married. You're going to say, no, I don't want him.
If I'm in love with him, I'm going to say yes, of course. But
well,
I'm just like, just in case I don't get into a relationship anytime soon. If I'm in love, yes.
Well, all I'm saying is you missed the mark on having a good man because you weren't willing to sacrifice a best friend that is not your boyfriend, a best friend that is just a friend to you. You're not going to be your life partner. You're not going to live with this person. You're not going to have kids with this person. This person is not going to be taking care of you in any way, but you're willing to give up a good man because you didn't want to sacrifice your best friend.
But why am I sacrificing my
because those are his standards. That's simple.
Then bye, leave.
That's okay. Listen, this is my thing. You're willing. You just said you're not willing to accept a good man because you don't want to give up your best friend. Most men are going to say, well, I think that, you got something a little going on with this best friend, because why not give him up? Why not respect my boundaries? And it's okay. You say, right, fine, I'll take it. But then you also said you're going to wait till 30. Do you think that you're just going to find a person and just get married like that? Like, I'm 30. All right, I got a line of guys that's waiting to marry me. Is Is that what's going on with you? You got a line of guys waiting for marry you when you're 30?
No, definitely not.
So how do you know it's just going to happen when you're 30? What if that takes an additional 5 or 6, 7 years?
I was giving an estimated age. I wasn't just giving an exact age. I was giving an estimated age. You said at what age do I want to be married? So if either I answer the question or I don't answer the question, so I gave you an estimated answer.
No, I asked you, do you want to be married? You said you want to wait until you're 30. I didn't ask you what age.
Yes, I do want to wait until I'm 30.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for speaking. I'm going to let somebody else up here.
Okay.
But see, guys, and this is what I mean. This is what I mean exactly, that, you know, where you have women and they say these things and they say, well, you know, I'm willing to do anything, but I'm not willing to give up the best friend. I still want to have the inappropriate relationship. I still want to do these things. These become the problem. And this is why I say women don't really want good men, because they're not willing to have that trade-off. They want to have their cake and eat it too. And it doesn't exactly always work like that, you know?
Can I say one more before I jump off?
So let's get somebody else to speak. You had a lot of time to speak. All right. New person that just came on.
Hello.
What's going on? What's your name? Where you from?
Don't see the background. I'm at my sister's house.
Okay.
My kids. Not my kids. So my name is, well, I go by Looney on here.
Okay.
I'm 22 years old. I'm from Boston.
Okay. Boston. I know you got that Boston accent. Boston in the house. What's going on?
Not much. It's pretty fucking cold. It's freezing.
Yeah, it is pretty cold outside.
Bipolar as hell, like legit. Like literally a week ago, it was like 60 degrees, and now it's like 20 something.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's very similar with New York weather. This shit is a bit ridiculous. I don't know whether to put my moose knuckle on or put like just a regular jacket. It does get a bit crazy, you know. But so what you want to talk about? What do you exactly disagree with? I want to know what's going on in your brain.
I disagree with the girl that was talking. I feel like a lot of women need to realize that, especially if you're attractive, don't be oblivious to the fact that dude did not think about smashing you at least once even before becoming friends with you.
Hello.
Don't be oblivious. You know how men operate. If you know how men operate, then you'll know that at least once or twice he thought about effing you. And if you gave him the opportunity, he would, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times he would.
And I agree. And I want to see what she has to say. That. What do you think about that? She disagreed. What do you think about that? You don't think that your best friend ever wanted to tap it or do anything with you?
No, I really don't. I really don't, because like I don't know how this is really going to help my case, but like the way me and my relationship is with him, and my dad has even seen the relationship I have with him. He's even had girlfriends and invited them over to my house, and we will all like cook together, have fun together. And he's still with that girlfriend right now. They come over all the time. We all hang out together. So he's not a gay dude at all.
I have a question. Do you hang out with him in an intimate setting? What I mean by intimate, like just you two out, going out, having fun.
Hold on a second, guys. Hold on 1 second. I'll let you guys talk it out. Continue to ask. I just got to use the bathroom right quick. So continue to talk, though. Continue to talk.
Okay. Yeah, no. Do you guys hang out in like an intimate setting, or just you two?
We go anywhere together. Like it doesn't, like, you don't really see it as an intimate setting. Like, you know how some people go to movies like as a date, and some people go to just like, you know, go see a movie.
I know, love, but like I get what you mean, because like, you know, I've had a male best friend, but then it didn't. I realized how much things I allowed until I actually got into a relationship. The person made me open my eyes about a few things. I was like, yeah, that's actually very wrong. For example, say if I'm in a committed relationship and it's pretty serious, and I'm out with my best friend, and then people are going to look at me like, it's society. It's not just society, it's men too. Other men are going to look at that as like, okay, who's that man that she's with? She got a man at home. Don't know what the situation is. Don't care what the situation is. She's most likely going to get judged. And then it goes back to your man. He's going to be, a lot of men don't like sharing. It depends on the type of man you have, but a lot of men don't like sharing. It's all about status when it comes to men, in my opinion. It's like they want English is not my first language. They want a woman that's not attainable. You know what I mean? And I know you may not have that relationship with that man, but other people can view it as such, and it's all going to come back to him.
But if he knows, like, It's not. I don't really care about what other people think. If I'm loyal to him.
You don't care, but like I said, it's a status thing, right? Men don't want women that are attainable easily, right?
Yeah,
so if other people view that, it's gonna make your man look bad. You know what I mean? Oh, my girl's out there with another dude in a movie theater. What are they doing? Oh, my girl's in a dinner setting with this man. I know it isn't what it is, but you just never know. There's too many situations where a man would trust the best friend and then boom, they've been smashing the whole goddamn time. You never know. People ain't shit.
Yeah, we don't even go out like that anymore, but we definitely have, went out to dinner and have went to before, not, and like, it was nothing intimate. I pay for my own stuff. I even pay for his ticket or whatever. But I do understand what you mean, saying like people seeing things and going back. But if my man knows that we're just, I feel like it's different if I keep it a secret. Right. I keep it a secret from my man, not telling my man that, hey, I'm going out with my guy best friend somewhere, and he finds out from another person. Yes, I can understand why he's mad. But if he knows what I'm doing and he has my location and he knows that I won't tolerate the flirting, like as soon as a man, if I'm in a relationship, as soon as tries to flirt me even one time, I block him.
But at the end of the day, like, we live in a world where, like, humans are unpredictable. You know what I mean? You can know someone for 50 years, and then they'll just do a 180 and just change up on you.
Okay, let me interject for a second. So I have a question. Would you say you lack emotional awareness about, because you don't you want to keep your best friend in spite of having a good man?
No, I would talk about this. I would talk about the standards that I have, and I would definitely mention, like, hey, I do have a best friend. Like, way before we even get into an intimate relationship.
Oh, okay, but what if? So this is my thing, and that's the problem there. What if he says, "Well, I don't like how that makes me feel." Most men don't really say that anyway. But even if he said, "I don't like the idea of it," and you could understand that he's not going to feel comfortable. But I would say maybe you lack emotional intelligence, because if you're saying that I'm going to keep my best friend and I'm willing to sacrifice a good man in a great relationship because I want to keep my best friend, I feel like there's a lack of awareness, because why can't you understand why that would make a man feel uncomfortable if you continue to question it and saying, well, hey, I don't want to do that. I don't care. I just want to do this. But do you not understand that most men aren't going to be okay with that?
Yes.
So my thing is, and do you not understand, like, that's not going to make a man feel good, right? He's not going to feel good about that. And if you care about the person, why is that such a hard thing to wrap your head around?
If I care about the person, I'm talking about, like, if I tell them right off the bat, like on the first date.
It does not matter. Men don't care about that. And this is what I said, and that's the whole point of the podcast. Women don't really want good men, because when good men come with boundaries and they have standards, even though it was one of the criteria that you said you would say a good man is, and you say, well, I want a man that knows what he wants, and he says, this is what I want. I don't care if you tell me. I don't care if you say, well, this is my best friend. No, listen, it's deaded. Either I'm done or that. And he's willing to do everything. You have a great man. I would say, if you don't understand that, there's a lack of emotional awareness for other people, because why is that so hard to wrap your head around?
That's nice.
High value men don't like sharing women.
Low value men don't like it either.
Well, it's not. I don't know what type of man she wants, so I'm just assuming.
How are we sharing if we're just friends?
If listen, I'll explain it to you. If any man has the same type of access to you that I do, and I'm supposed to be your lover, and then maybe one day we can get married, and I'm supposed to be taking you serious, if he can text you at his leisure, if he can call you at his leisure, if he can hang out with you, if he has the same type of intimate time that I have, and this is not your brother, cousin, or any type of family member, that's the problem. It doesn't matter if you're just saying it. It's inappropriate. And I don't understand, why is that so hard to understand? And it's a great indicator that maybe you have a lack of awareness when it comes to other people's emotions. And that's my whole point, that women lack emotional intelligence. They always say, hey, men lack emotional. No, women do too. And I think what you're saying is a prime example, because you're insisting, you're fighting for someone who is not your man. You're fighting for someone who is not your significant other.
but he's not my significant other either. We're on the first date together.
No, even still, aside from that, even when it's okay, so let's say if you're on a first date and you say, okay, well, yeah, that's cool. We go on a few dates. You guys been talking for a few months, and you say, well, I think, like, what do you think about a relationship? And say, even if you initiate it, and he says, well, okay, well, hey, we can do that, but listen, hey, baby, one of my stipulations is that best friend of yours, I'm not with it. I don't like it. We got to figure that out, and then we can be in a relationship. And it doesn't matter if you tell him on a first date. That just because you tell him, having a disclosure, it's not like it's gonna change. You make it sound like it's telling somebody you got kids. That ain't your fucking kid. That man ultimately means nothing on the grand scheme of things. You ain't about to marry him, so what you fighting for him for? What you want to keep him around so bad?
Because he's my friend. Y'all are seeing it as it's my standard. You can have your own standard. You can have your own preference. Me saying that I'm not going to cut off one of my close friends is not me not being emotionally intelligent. It's just me having my own standard.
How much contact do you have with your friend on a daily basis? And how much do you go out? Let me just ask you that. Because if you're with a man, if you live with your man,
I would say like every month, and we do text almost but
You said you guys text every day.
All right, let me go off of that, right? For example, say if, all right, let's flip the script. Let's say if he has a girl best friend, right? And you guys are having issues, and all of a sudden, you guys are not talking at the moment, and you see his phone blowing up. He's smiling at his phone while y'all are having issues. How would you feel, honestly? Let's just be honest. I know a lot of women will be lying. Oh, no, it's fine. I'd be fine with that. But there's certain situations where when I'm angry, I don't want my man texting his best friend and venting about me. Because let's be honest, that's what you guys do, right? The women who are friends with males, right? That's what y'all do. Y'all bring the relationship to them, complain to them.
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. Because I know a lot of women who do that, personally.
Oh, for him.
Okay, well, let's
doesn't do that either.
Well, this is my point, and we're gonna let Bria talk in a second. But this is my point, that there's a level of awareness, and then there's a level of understanding what a man wants in a relationship. And I think it's either that or it's just a level of selfishness. And I don't think we should get with selfish people to begin with, right? You shouldn't want to be with somebody selfish like that. Because honestly, if somebody says, I don't like the way that makes me feel, I don't feel comfortable with that, and they're saying, well, I don't care, that's my best friend. No one in their right mind is going to think that you don't have something extra going on with this person. No one. And I would say it's a level of awareness that some people are lacking if they say, well, hey, I'm going to keep my best friend no matter what. I don't care. It's selfish. And I think this is a great way to filter somebody out when you're trying to get into a relationship. If you're a good man, if you're somebody who's serious. And also on the other foot, if you're a woman, if you want a good man, these are some of the things that you're going to have to sacrifice. You just can't do as you please. You can't do what you want. And usually the men that accept that are the men that have no say so. And those men are usually broke, destitute, and trying to leech off the women. And you usually have other underlying problems in your relationship. No man that values himself, no man that is okay with that. He doesn't value himself. He's okay with that. It's very basic standard. Very basic. If you love yourself and you care about yourself and you know yourself and you value yourself enough to say, hey, that best friend shit is done, and she doesn't give it to you, that's okay. You say, you know what? I respect you, but this is not for me. So we're going to have to gracefully walk away. All right. Bria, let me hear you say something. You didn't speak yet. Let's see what you got to say.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing? What's up?
Good. How are you?
Let them know where you're from. I mean, I know where you're from, but let them know.
Okay. I'm originally from South Carolina. I didn't mention that yesterday. But I'm in Cali. Yeah, I'm in Cali, so I do have that Southern girl upbringing, and it is different from this coast, I noticed.
Okay. So what you have to say about the topic? What's your thoughts?
So to address the specific topic, women do not want good men. I feel like I'm interpreting that how you're saying it as the standards we're setting, right, for men. In so return, men will do to us. So therefore, if these men are setting standards, good men, like
good men,
good men, the standards are different, right? The family dynamic will be different everywhere. However, a good man to me, how my daddy raised me and how he is with my mother 40 years later, still together, going strong. The way they do not have friends, okay? They don't have best friends. They are each other's best friend. They have the same principles, the same values, the same, they align, but they are still individual. Now, what I mean by that is we could still have our own, because I see some people commenting, everybody have their own opinion. I respect that. Me personally, if my man, I'm single right now. So if I'm dressed in a certain way, or I'm trying to catch a man that I want, and he says, I don't really, I'm attracted to you, but I don't appreciate how you step out. I think maybe we can change that. What do you think? It's an open communication. I say, sorry, I'm in my break room. I said, I will respect that, and I will go along with that. Why? It's not being submissive or whatever other people are saying. What it is respect. If you want to continue with that person, if you want a relationship with that person, you will respect their values and see if it aligns with you. Now, mama, both of you, if that doesn't align with you, okay, keep it moving. But we're talking about good men. It is rare to find a good man, right, who wants a woman with another best friend. And I'm not coming at you, baby. I'm not. What I'm saying is, from a woman of experience, older caliber, it doesn't work that way, because you need to be able to rely on your partner. They are supposed to be there for you. They're supposed to be your everything, and that's how it works. You can have acquaintances.
And let me ask you a question. She said something earlier, and you're closer to my age than hers. And she said something about her wanting to wait till 30. To get married, or to at least think about marriage anyway. Do you think that that's the best idea for a 23-year-old perspective to take? How do you feel about that?
No.
Can you explain? Explain to her, because I want you to speak. I want you to speak on it, because you're a little older. First of all, Luna, how old are you?
Me? I'm 22.
All right, so let Bria a little talk, because she is a little more experienced in the dating. So I want her to speak on what's her thought about waiting to 30 to get married.
Mama, I agree. I agree with KB. It is a little too late. When he's talking about just the mentality of it all, you have to grow with your partner, right? You're set in your ways at 30. A lot physically will change. Now, I'm going to speak very transparently. Can I still get it in? Absolutely. But that's not the point. The point of the matter is, where are you mentally with that partner you want to grow with? I think it's just too late. You got to be able to be childbearing. Like, if that's your goal, listen, my goal in life is to be a mother and a wife. I have to be able to childbear. I've done that. I have been married. I don't mind sharing my business. Yes, I'm divorced by choice, because there's other ramifications there. And it wasn't because he's not a quote unquote good man, but people grow apart. Anyways, we'll get into that later, but I would say you really need to take in consideration the standards you're laying out for yourself. Because if you don't want to remain single, then you need to understand waiting too late and having a best friend. As a guy, how can you really relate? I relate to females, and I barely even have that circle, because if they are not stepping right, they are not with me. If my female friends do not carry themselves the way I carry myself, they're not with me. And then some of you who said, now what if we break up and then you lost your best friend? Nobody said that. I said acquaintances. It's how, like KB said,
Are you okay? He set standards. You could have your best friend. Okay, according to the man, you must stop talking to him at this time. It's a conversation. It's open communication, and it's respect for each other. You guys can lay that out and lay the intent in the beginning. The whole point of dating is date to marry. If you dating to have sex, what's the point? You know what I'm saying?
I heard that slip up. She said, if you dating to fuck.
I gotta be respectful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nah, we gotta keep it PG because I don't want to get kicked over here.
I agree. Yeah.
And I want to hear what do you have to say for you getting advice from a woman, not even a man, from that perspective of getting married?
I think the same way as her, in my opinion. I think the same way. I think waiting that long personally, you're gonna miss out on a lot of men. Because when you're in your 30s and 40s, you're already grown and have a good idea of how you want your relationships to be. And so like that whole growing period, you know what I mean? It's not really there. I mean, you're growing as a couple, but not as in, right. You know what I mean? Because when you're in a relationship, you guys want to grow as individuals, but together. Mm-hmm. Versus you're missing that way too long.
And Nandra, what do you think?
Like you said. Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
I want to see I think it's Nandra.
You can just call me Napo. It's okay.
Napo. All right. What you think? What do you think about what she said? Coming from a perspective of a woman, and who is just a tad bit older than you.
I definitely respect your opinion, and I do respect your advice, but it's not something that I would really follow. I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all because I do understand what you're saying, and I hear how it makes me uncomfortable. But that's why I like to have at least a 1 month trial, try to get the man and see what does he go for, and just go from there. I wouldn't want any man to be with a woman who obviously doesn't respect his standards and values, because that you're not respecting him at all. Mm-hmm. But if I'm being upfront with you and I'm telling you, hey, I do have a guy friend, and you tell me that I have to cut him off, then as a woman, I'm going to allow you to find someone that you love and that is fit for you.
Okay.
Let me ask you something. You're gonna have a really hard time finding your ideal man if you think about it like that. Because as women, let's just talk biology. As we get older, women are known for beauty and what's the word for that? What's that word? Innocence? I don't want to say innocence. Beauty, and there's a word. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, we're known for beauty, right? As that starts to, I'm not saying women in their 30s and 40s are not beautiful, but I'm saying men. And then the man you're looking for is not going to be available by that time.
It's true.
I'm not saying women. There's a lot of women in their 30s that's fucking gorgeous, but I'm saying those type of men that you're specifically looking for, those specific men, is going to go for someone younger, and you're going to
be taken.
Yeah, too late.
It's hard right now, baby. It is hard.
Okay. No, go ahead. Finish talking. Let me see what you're saying.
I agree. And I want to just say, you look like Ashley. You look like Ashley Graham a lot. She is so beautiful.
I don't know who that is. Thank you.
She's a celebrity, a model.
I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for giving her a compliment. I'm glad we can have a peaceful conversation. Doesn't get so crazy. All right, Freda, how do you say your name? Freda B? How do you say that?
Yes, Freda B, but just call me Freda.
All right, where you from, Freda?
I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, Freda from Jacksonville in the house. What's going on with you? How you doing?
I don't know if you noticed, but I've been blowing your comments up.
Okay, well, I try to ignore the comments. I try to pay attention to the conversation at hand. So tell me what's your frustrations? What do you disagree with?
Oh, no frustrations here.
Okay, what do you disagree with?
I'm already at the point, I'm locked in to just be alone for the rest of my life. So I'm pretty okay with that, and I'm already 30, so we're great. We're great on that front. So I don't have to. There's no trying to find a man to do this, and the third. Ain't no such thing as the nice guy to me. None of that foolishness. And when I say that, I want the society the societal mindset to be okay with a woman being alone, because like the way the panel is set up, it's like, oh, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Oh, you know, it's going to be hard to find a man. Cool beans. So why don't we just get straight to the finish line, right? That's where I'm at with it.
Okay, well,
but my issue was for Nevaeh, the one that's on the second part, when she says that she didn't want to give up her friend, and I totally understand what she means, because my best friend is a guy. I have a best guy friend. Now, we don't talk every day like Nevaeh and her dude do. Like, we're like, it's like, if I need him, I can call him. He needs me, we could call each other. We've been best friends since in the second grade. And we're both the same age, and we're cool. Why she got to give up her friend?
All right. Well, first of all, no. So wait. Let me talk. First of all, you said a lot. That's first and foremost.
Oh, yeah.
Second, let me talk. This is how we're going to do this. When I talk, I let you talk. There's no cutting anybody off. First and foremost, you literally just said that you were okay. Oh, well, I don't know where she went, but listen, I'll still respond to what she said. That person said that they're okay with being alone forever. I would first and foremost like to say that most people don't want to be alone forever. I don't know anybody that wants to be alone forever, right? That's first and foremost. So I think automatically she's falling into a category that's below minority of people in society, right? That's like she's in a very, very super small percentage of people that want to be alone. Second, to preface the whole conversation that women don't want good men, she makes my point even more, because she doesn't want a man at all. She wants to die alone. She literally just said that. So I don't really think that Frida really qualifies for the conversation. And for you to bring up the whole best friend conversation, whereas in Apo, she said that, you know, she does want to get married. She does want to be with somebody, right? So when you try to come in the perspective, in the mindset of saying, I'm going to die alone, I don't really think you qualify for this conversation, sweetheart. I think that I think you're a little too far off. So to entertain a conversation with you would kind of be like a bit pointless, because you literally said you want to be alone, you want to die alone, and then you try to justify what you know, what Napa said about the best friend, and she even separates from you, right? I think let me finish. Let me finish.
No, I just want to clarify that.
Listen, if you cut me off, I'm going to mute your mic. So let me finish, because when you talked, I let you talk. We're going to keep things respectful. This is not one of these lives that have no structure. So like I was saying, she doesn't really qualify for this conversation, because even Napo says she wants to be married. She wants to be with someone, right? She wants to have a partner. That's not what she's saying. She had an issue with disagreeing on the best friend. So for you to say that you want to die alone and then try to go on to defend her, I don't think that conversation really has any merit at that point, when you said you want to die alone, because your mindset is completely different from, I would say, most of the world.
Yeah.
You can speak now.
Most definitely.
Thank you for that. What I was trying to do was clarify. I wasn't trying to cut you off, but yeah.
That's cutting off. You interrupt someone while speaking, that's cutting off.
Oh, okay, sweetie. I got it.
All right, let her talk. Let her talk. Go ahead.
It's very rude. Don't call me sweetie.
Oh God, please, ladies, don't get catty on here. Stop, please. Come on. Frida, it's all right. Hey, stop. No. Listen, let's stick to the topic. Now, you wanted to respond. Go ahead, respond.
Okay, well, before Sweetie cut me off. Basically, I came here to be devil's advocate. I didn't come to agree with anybody, because, again, like, the topic is just a mute point, for real. Like, we already know that there are more better single women out there than are single men. What's the point? You already tell women they got to conform to this, that, and the third.
So my question, you know all right, let me ask you a question.
Oh, are we cutting each other off now? Let me mute first. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead, finish talking. Go ahead. Say what you were finished saying.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Why do you want to die alone?
Why not? I was born alone. What's the point? What's the problem? I was born alone. So I'm comfortable with that. And I don't understand why people always like to make it seem like, oh, you have to have somebody, or you're gonna be dead and alone. You gotta find somebody, you gotta have kids, you gotta be married, marriage should be your goal. It's not our goal, sweetie. It's not a lot of women's goal. It's not. And why is that a bad thing?
Let me I'm gonna talk to her. Me and her having a conversation. Well, first of all, statistically, most people want to be married. Most people have a goal for marriage. If we're speaking facts, right? You can search that up. That's one. Let me finish. Most people want to be married. You have a Google search engine, you can do that, right? And I think most people want to at least have somebody. Even if you say people don't want to be married, no, most people don't want to die alone. So that's first and foremost. My second question is, why are you in that predicament? Why have you accepted that you want to be alone and die alone? I feel like it's very extreme. It's very abnormal. Why have you accepted that fate for yourself? Do you think let me finish talking. Let me finish talking. Do you not think you are worthy enough? Do you not think anyone will love you enough to be with you? You can speak.
No, that's not how I feel. I don't feel that I'm not worthy enough.
So why are you in that predicament? Why do you come to that conclusion?
I'm a single body human being, and I'm okay with not being with anyone for the rest of my life.
Okay, I think that you should seek therapy. I think therapy.
But I go to therapy though.
Well, I think, and that's perfect, and I think that's really good for you. And I think that you should continue to seek therapy. I think that I appreciate. Okay, we're gonna get her off of here. I think that people like that have some type of trauma. When you when you say that you want to die alone, that is a very dark place to be. I don't think that's normal by any standards. I don't think that most people want to want to be that way. I had to kick her off because I think she didn't really have a conversation in this place anyway. The topic was why don't women want good men? She doesn't want a man at all. She wants to be alone, right? So I really didn't think she had a place in this debate. But I think a lot of people should seek therapy. A lot of people have ongoing problems, and I think therapy will help you understand why you're in the position you're in. And I think a lot of people really should seek therapy if you have very extreme beliefs on life. And I don't think being alone is healthy. Wanting to die alone is not healthy. But she kind of made my point even more that most women, they don't really want a good man because of the standards and stipulations that come with that. But even furthermore, wanting to die alone, I hope she continues to go to therapy, and I hope she seeks help because.
Oh, did you hear what she said? She said she doesn't believe that kind man exists, and that's also, you didn't hear that?
I didn't hear that because she was just like rambling. Well,
that was a big indicator that tells me that she's been cheated on or so on and so forth, done wrong by so many men, that she just believes that all men are the same. That's that mindset I don't like.
I agree. I definitely.
That mindset I don't like, that negativity. Why are you generalizing? Just because you choose to deal with a man who is incompetent or, does not fit your standards doesn't mean that applies to all men. I don't like that way of thinking. Because just like how you think men are shit and men are this, there's women out there who do the exact same. So you cannot just generalize like that. I don't like women that say that.
Bria, you have anything to say about that?
Not to go off too long because that's a deep dive I don't want to get into. It's unfortunate to hear something like that because from an older perspective, a woman with children, I would not want my daughter to ever feel that way, that she cannot find someone or doesn't want someone and wants to die alone. That is a trauma. or not, and whatever it may be, that she arrived to this are meant to be solutions. We aren't those we were meant to probate. That is the fact, science, that is what everyone up there. We are not meant to be alone. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be here if that was the case. And as far as, you know, some people believe why, you know, what we're bringing up age, we're bringing up, she's single, blah, blah, blah. Listen, there's so many circumstances, so many reasons people cheat on each other. Is when the man organizing his topic is women who do want good men. Even this conversation, I'm a part of this. And I wasn't looking for the right one. And now that I got of an older age, I realized people been in the department, they're on the podcast. So I don't.
Bria, you're a bit laggy. Bria, you're a bit laggy. I don't know. You're just a bit. You're lagging a bit. You might want to. I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second to fix your Wi-Fi. But what I was gonna say was, even to piggyback of what she said, people that don't want to die alone, that means you don't want to have a lineage. You don't want to have a generation to come after you. That means you don't care about having children. You don't want your children to have children. That means you don't want to leave any part of you in this world. And I think that kind of defeats the purpose of your biological makeup as a human being. And to say, and even furthermore, if you want different, you have to change yourself. And that comes with taking responsibility and accountability. Women, they usually, and not even women, men too, you usually attract the same kind of person because you're continually doing the same thing, right? If you say, I only attract guys that do this certain thing, well, you have to change things up. Change how you dress, change how you approach relationships, change your beliefs. Change your respect and your stance on things, and then you will get different. If you continue to attract the same type of guys, you can't generalize people like that. You can't say every guy's the same because I've only dated girls with, because I've only dated girls, let's say for example, I've only dated girls that are freaky, right? So if I say, oh damn, all y'all girls is freaky, all y'all is hoes, and I can't do that because that's the energy I'm putting out. That's the things that I accept. Right? Those are the things that I accept. So that's what I'm going to continue to attract. And it's the same thing vice versa, right? If you see certain signs of that certain kind of man and you still accept him, you say all men are the same, you have to work on your filtering mechanism. That's something only you can take responsibility for, right? You can't blame anybody for that. You can't say all the men are ain't shit, all the men are the same. No, you have to take responsibility for your life. And I get it. You can't just blame it on women. A lot of people in general don't like taking accountability. You have to take accountability for your life. So if something's not working, you have to switch it up. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over without it changing. You got to switch something up. You can't say, oh, all these men are the same. No, now you're just playing a victim. And that's even still playing the victim. That's not helping you. It's not going to get you a better man. Switch the shit up. Switch it up and try again. Seriously. What's a Chavez flag? What's up, buddy? What's your name? Where you from?
It's pronounced Chavis.
Oh, my bad. Chavez flag. What's your name? Where you from?
Okay, Chavis from Atlanta.
Okay, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm really not trying to be on here like that, but I do feel like I have like a say, and I have something to say.
Okay, what's up? What you got to disagree with?
Well, first I want to say, as a man, I appreciate you for how you are relaying this message to the women.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it.
You're not very defensive. You're kind of just relaying the message, and I appreciate the way you're coming across. But, I started talking to somebody, and she has a lot of male orbiters, as I would put it. And these are, quote unquote, her best friends. And, of course, like before we start dating or whatever, you can do whatever you want. You're a grown woman. You can be friends with whoever you want to be with. But as soon as me and you say we're official and we're locked in, or whatever the case may be,
bye-bye.
Those male orbiters have to disappear, because that could bring up a lot of confusion later on in a relationship, a lot of jealousy for no reason. And, you know, I don't want to just say women in general, but a lot of people keep their exes in their closet and call them their friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're my friend now. I have an ex in particular who still keeps up with her ex-boyfriends and call them friends. So it's just a very interesting topic. And, you know, I a lot tonight, but anyway, yeah, that's just
well, to help you out a bit. Now you said that, you know, if you guys, when you guys become official, the boyfriend's got to go, and this is something that men have to take accountability for also. And what you have to understand is that you don't just wait for the best friends to go. You have to understand, until you become official, you are getting to know this person for a reason, to figure out if this is the person for you. And this is why I always tell guys, you don't jump into a relationship right away. 2 months to know, take a little bit to get to know that person. And you got to understand, at the very beginning, everybody's on their best behavior. So if she's on her best behavior and she's doing things that are outside of your standards, you take that and you note it, right? You note it, you say, well, these are my standards, and these are some of the things she does, and you evaluate, you take note on these things, because you're saying that's something that you don't like. And if you have accepted it up until this point where it's time to make things official, and she says, I don't understand why that's a problem, I never even knew that was a problem, and you don't voice your opinion, then aside from the other things that you need to take inventory of to say whether this is a good person for me or not. And this is why I created the relationship course for guys in particular, because guys don't do this. Women will do it. Oh, he got to check off these amount of boxes. He got to have no red flag. Okay, that's fine. Men don't do that. Men don't have any type of standards, right? And so when I say, don't just say, oh, wait, I'm gonna wait until she whatchamacallit, until she, until we get into a relationship. No, you're doing that wrong. And let me tell you how to do that right. You have to, don't just use that. You take inventory of that, and then you say, well, okay, what else? Let me see what else you got. If you're going for a monogamous relationship, that's how you do it. And you have to have a good filtering mechanism. And I wouldn't say not only men are bad at that. Women are bad at that too, because you guys keep true and ain't shit guys, right? Unless you like, just don't get along for whatever reason, you decide to gracefully bow out of the relationship. But you have to filter women out and have some type of standards. And I get it. It's not as easy for men to get women, but you got to have some type of standards. And you got to say, okay, that's one thing. Now let's go down the rest of the list and see a lot of things that I don't like, because honestly, for me, big red flag. And if you just said that you have X that does that and she keeps up, listen, I don't care what you say. You cannot be friends with somebody who you had a sexual relationship with. Right? It does not work. So you need to take that into account, take that into inventory, and say, hey, listen, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody like that, that has to go. And then you need to also take inventory of other things. Don't just say, okay, well, she got a whole bunch of guy friends. You think that's okay? You think she's just going to get rid of all these guy friends when you guys get into a relationship? Absolutely not. And then on top of that, if she has all these guy friends, even if she told you, how far are they really going to go? How far are they really going to go? You got to think about that.
And you know what? I appreciate you for correcting me on that too, because I actually agree with that. And, it's a little subtle change in my mind, because you hear a lot of, oh, I have a friend here and I don't want to lose my friend I've been friends with since I was 5 years old. And you want to give people the benefit of the doubt. But you know what? I like your stance on that, and I'm going to adopt that. But also, hold on, let me get my thoughts together. Y'all forgive me, I'm kind of under the weather too. But anyway, I agree.
Let her speak. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, I feel like if you pay attention well, this is my main thing I'm about to make a point on. A lot of unhealed women like getting into relationships they're not ready for. And that's why a lot of you men end up getting hurt. the way you guys do, and I understand. So my thing is that when you're first talking to a woman, if the first thing she mentions is her ex and the shit she's done and stuff she didn't learn or things she didn't do, that's a red flag. She's unhealed. Don't mess with her. She's still on the iffy. If a woman's still, I mean, it's different. Like I said, it's different for every woman's situation, especially like the girl on the bottom. Like, how do you pronounce your name? Her situation. Yeah, Bree. Your situation is totally different. You had kids with the person, so you have to be in contact with.
And she was married.
Yeah, right.
It's different.
I'm talking about for the women who didn't have. The women who just had these like short-term relationships, and then you hop into another one, and then you're still talking about your ex. You're talking about shit.
On top of that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm lagging still. And on top of that, having a father and my children, we still have boundaries against each other. Knowing we're going to go into new relationships, we do not spend the night with each other. We don't stay on the phone past a certain time. All we do is talk about our kids. That's it. We don't talk about anything else. So with that being said, that comes into play with the whole best friend thing. If I could do that with someone I used to be married to, you should be able to cut off certain relations with your best friend. How can you possibly have another best friend of the opposite sex? And it's just going to cut it off with other. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to just say this and then I'm going to get off. But a lot of things that a lot of women don't understand either is that the male orbiters that y'all do have that are y'all friends have ulterior motives. And they really want to be with you. Y'all should know that.
That's happened every time.
Yeah.
To me, at least. I don't know about other people, but to me, I swear I've had it every single time. I was in the military with a bunch of men, and they called me their sister, and then end up getting drunk, and they're like, "So you want to come back to my barracks room?" No, nasty. I don't want you. I thought you were my brother. I thought you had my back. But as soon as I get drunk, you want to take me back to your room.
Hey, you can't make this shit up, man. I'm giving people, you know, and this almost worked out perfectly because you have people who are opposed, you have people who had experience, you have people who just agree, and then you have people who agree. I feel like you're getting all aspects, and it doesn't look good for people who, you know, who just want to do what they want. You know, there has to be some type of structure, and that you just can't do as you please with anything. Now, I can understand if you have an arrangement where people accept it, right? You can have it, like for example, Alfred, right? I've been in his position before where I said, okay, well, there's a multitude of girls that want me, and I'm just going to tell them and be honest, and they're okay with that. Well, that became the problem is, even though at the time maybe I could afford it, it starts to get a bit expensive. And I think maybe his pockets are maybe a bit deeper than mine, right? So where if you're going to 2 or 3 vacations a year with different girls, and then you got to pay every time you go out. Yeah, you could still have to be making a certain amount of money to afford it, but that shit gets expensive. I'd still be saving money if I had a wife and a kids, or if I had a kid or 2 kids or 3 kids to take care of, my own, hers, whatever the case may be, and then still take care of that and have a house and still give my mom money. Doing that is less expensive than dating 5 and 6 and 7 girls. And I feel like if you have the money to do that, you should do that, and you can do that, right? But when we talk about wanting a good man, and we talk about getting to these situations and some of the stipulations and standards that men come with and they're going to tolerate, a lot of people don't want to accept it. A lot of women don't want to accept it. And that's the problem. It's like that trade-off is so hard. Why is that so hard? You know? What you got to say, Aaron? What's going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on, Fisherman?
Tell everybody where you're from.
So I'm from Switzerland, born in Mauritius, and I'm the kind of guy who has like 4 women in my life.
Okay. And what you had to say on today's topic? What was your stance on the topic today?
I would like to say finding incredible women and finding incredible men. Like, first thing, you attract your energy. That's the first thing. Like, I might have good money. I might be physically attractive to some, But as soon as a woman, like, they just see the outside, okay, he's nice, he got nice car, etc. Okay. When they talk to me, I already put a standard. If I ask them certain questions, you already see that, oh, wow, this guy is not just going to chit-chat me or something. And it automatically repels them. It's like a filtering mechanism, you know? And but you will notice with this system that the high quality women will not be scared about it, you know, because they know life is difficult. It is because it is very difficult to be with a man like me. You can ask my girl here. I'm not an easy man. I'm very, very difficult. Why? Because I was very difficult with myself. I don't accept mediocrity with myself at all. So I read every day, I work every day, I use my brain. So I will never tolerate anything else for me. Now imagine for another person. It's very, very difficult. But women have to realize that if you want to be with a certain guy who takes a lot of time to build himself up, it's not going to be easy ever. So there's a price to pay for everything. That's what I wanted to say to women.
Yeah, and you know what? To to piggyback of what he said, it's true. Any man of substance, any man that has any value, any man that cares about himself remotely, they're not going to accept anything. And that's the thing. Like, women, they want to be unruly, and I get it. Like, you feel as if it's a different time, it's a different age, but that's only in America, in countries like America. Outside of America, that shit is not like that. And if I value myself, if a man values himself and he works hard to get the money and do all the things that he's built himself up, especially if you want a quality man, right? Your quote unquote high quality man who's worked to have a family, who's worked to get money, who's worked to do all these things, and you think that you're just gonna come and just have and do anything? No, you're never even gonna meet that man. You're not. So any man that has standards, you're never going to do it. And that's the thing. A good man, or a man that has his shit together, that's willing to accept the responsibility of taking care of you and doing all the things he's supposed to do and meeting his role as a man, and you say, I'm going to still do what I want, it's not going to happen. So the best friend, the doing what you want, the coming home at any time of the night, the not checking in with him, that shit is a no-go, and it's not happening. And that's what you guys need to understand. It's just that I feel like women understand what they want, but they don't understand men, because it's like the simple fact that we can sit up here and have women argue about this and say that, oh, well, I don't care, I'm a just be single. Dude, that's crazy. Now, I get it. Some people have trauma. Some people need help. Some people need to go to therapy, but you just can't do what you want if you want a man that has his shit together. Even if you want a good man, even if that motherfucker suffering and he's only making 40, 50K a year, but he says he's going to take care of you and make it happen, work extra overtime to do what he got to do to take care of his family, to take care of you. And you're saying, no, I don't want that because I can't have my best friend, or I can't go out to club, I can't hang out with my other friends, I can't do this, it's not acceptable. No one's going to accept that. Quality man is not going to accept that. You might as well settle for a man. And most of the men who do accept these things, those are men that ain't got shit going on. They don't not headed towards anything. These are men that come home and play video games and smoke weed all day. They have no ambition to exceed their income of 20 and 30K a year. They want to be average. Those men don't have ambition. And I'm not going to even get into another topic of when you get those high quality men, those guys that fall into that 1%, you ain't got no choice but to be sharing them. That's a whole nother topic, right? Because I know I'm a loser. We're going to lose some people. But the point is, you can't expect to have somebody that has high standards and your standards can't match it. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So if you want to, and that's the thing. And this is the thing. I don't never say that like I said last live, like, and this is why I don't consider myself like a Kevin Samuels, because he shot women down straight up. You can't have that kind of man. Oh, you overweight. You got 5 kids. 5 kids is crazy, but you got a whole bunch of kids. Forget about it. But I'm saying that you can get those kind of men, but you got to be compliant. You can't come in being unruly, saying I'm gonna just do whatever I want. Right? You got to know how to serve. A lot of women don't know how to serve men. I think that's the top. Let me write that down for the next podcast. Y'all don't know how to serve men. Right? You guys can speak. You can take the floor if you want. Whatever you got to say. We're going to end this up soon.
In Russia, there is a skill. Like when a woman naturally grows up, there's someone who teaches that woman how to be a woman. Long time ago, they used to have that, teaching women how to be women.
In America, it's called their mom.
Yes.
But a lot of moms aren't doing that though.
No. The men even don't even know how to be with a man. What will they teach their daughters? How to be feminist, how to be like manly, how to be difficult? No. Like in Europe, I know that for a fact there's a skill that women need to learn before they get married. They have to go through a kind of course. But we can do that by reading books, by understanding the dynamics in a relationship. There's a skill. Everything is a skill. If you want to be in business, it is a skill that a lot of skill you have to learn. Many skills you have to learn to be in business and have money. Same for relationship. It's a skill. Go and read. Go and understand how it works.
Yes. Can I say something to that, Arvin?
Yeah, sure.
That was so beautifully said because of what you said about skill. All right, speaking from experience, to be a mother, it takes skill. I have to learn how to cook for these babies. I have to learn how to clean my house for hygiene. I have to learn how to provide for them, how to nurture. You cannot do these things if you're focused on other things like a fashion, things like that. That comes later. You have to be established as a woman, and these roles, they aren't abuse. A lot of them are taking them as it's so oppressive to the female. No, it's preparing us to be women. It's a role that you could serve each other. We're not saying that the men aren't prepared. We're saying simply the topic of we have to be prepared as women to be able to carry these babies. It is not an easy or fun job at times. It takes a lot to go into that. Sometimes I'm like, thank you, Mom, for making me clean. Get up every Saturday. We get up, we clean. She taught me how to clean, how to iron my clothes, how to cook, how to do all that. And what did I get? I was able to maintain a home because of it. I was able to protect me and my kids. I still have the respect of my ex right now because I'm able to still do that. So these things are very important. It's nothing about oppression or anything. It's about how to maintain a home.
Exactly. And to piggyback of what you said, there's a lot of women that when I say serve, they I don't know why, but it's just this thing that comes, well, oh, you're being a slave. And this is usually only American women, but not most. But a lot of them are usually American women when they say, oh, well, oh, serve is crazy. Oh, you want a servant, you want a slave. No, but look, and that's the problem. It's they don't understand that. And I think the people that, and this is my correlation, this is my experience. I've only maybe had one girlfriend who didn't treat me in that manner. And I would say most of the girls that I've dated, especially women whose parents don't come from this country, right? I don't, when I'm hungry, if we're at their place or if they're at my place and they're cooking, they will cook the food, they will serve it to me. They will, when I'm done, take the food, go clean the dishes. Like even so much so, like there's been times like if I went to a girl's house and I finished eating, if she didn't get the plate, her mom got the plate. It was crazy. Like nothing. I've dated girls where I come in there, if I come in their place, they take off my jacket, they like tell me to take off my shoes. I get foot massage, like, and I don't have to say it. So when I say my standards are high, my standards are on another level because I get it. Being submissive, there are levels to it. Some girls will do it. Some girls will do what other girls don't. But and it does help to be the man that can provide and do things. But my thing is, you shouldn't always have to say, well, I need a man that's gonna make me be submissive. I need the right type of leader, which is cool. But now that's selective submission. Like you're being selective of who you want to be. That should be your character. And when that's your character and that's who you as a person, you then tend to attract that kind of person. You know, it shouldn't just be, oh, well, I got to have the right man. No. And this how men, your standards should be. This how your standards should be. See you later, Bree. This how your standards should be, honestly.
But the man should take responsibility. The man should take the responsibility to be a high quality man first. You cannot sit down, play video games, drink beer all day long, and expect like, hey, I deserve a high quality woman. It doesn't work like that, bro. take your responsibility too, guys. We are here talking about women, but men, be the kind of guy that this kind of woman would want to worship. Don't be this kind of guy that this woman comes home like, oh my god, this guy is just playing video games again. Like, where's the ambition? How are they gonna be turned on by a man who is passive, who is just sitting there and waiting life to happen to him? How are they gonna be turned? How women are going to be turned on by that, guys? They are turned on by like people who go getters, people who do amazing things. So guys, be this kind of man that this kind of woman will want to worship. It goes both ways.
And don't get me wrong, even if you are playing games, but make a career out of it. I know guys that play games, but they stream it and they're making hundreds of thousands a month. If you're gonna do it, make it your purpose. Don't just do anything. Because it's a trade-off. It's not just a woman playing their part. You got to play your part too. Don't be a loser. At least try your best. You know?
I agree with everything you're saying. Both of you guys, honestly. It goes both ways.
My man Alvin got shorty rubbing on his face. He out here showing up. I hear you, man. I ain't mad at you at all. But what I was about to say. All right, last person that joined. Let me see what you got to say. Say where you're from and your name. And after you go, we're gonna get off of here. What you got to say, buddy?
Yeah, man. My name is Ramos. I'm from UK.
Okay, what's going on, Ramos? UK in the house. I see you.
Yeah, it's quite late. It's quite late over here. We're very late in the night in Manchester, UK.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just wondering, as a young guy, you know, like I study in university, and like the women nowadays, I don't know, just a lot of them, you love to play games, and I just really don't know how to cope with that.
Well, what you need to do is first build yourself up, right? Build yourself up. And a lot of the times, even when aside from building yourself up, sometimes you may make yourself a little too available, right? First, you got to work on yourself, you know, make sure you're getting money, make sure you stack up your bread. How old are you?
19.
Dude, you're super young. So what you need to do is work on yourself, you know. And I tell guys all the time, if you're not going to start a business, if you're not working on anything extra, you should be working at least 60, 70, 80 hours a week if you're not pursuing a business goal or a craft, right? So this way you're above average. At $20 an hour, I'm not sure what the difference is with the ratio with money. I think your guys' money is a little bit more, but at $20 an hour, if you're working 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week, that's $70,000 a year. That's still above average. Average in America is 54,000. So I know in the UK it has to be a bit higher, right? So work on yourself, work on your looks, work on your physique, be in the gym. So this way your appearance can be desirable. And then also educate yourself, right? Educate yourself on how to interact with women. That's the reason why I have Patreon. That's the reason why I have the relationship course. One of the biggest mistakes guys make is soon as they get to know a girl, they want to talk to them all day, every day. And that's the indicator of, dude, what do you have going on with your life? Damn, he's always texting me. Every time I respond, he responds like this, right? There's a lot of different things that you need to work on when interacting with women. But one thing I say is don't make them your focus, right? And a lot of the times you have to take responsibility for the type of game that you exude. And remember, having game and playing games are two different things. Just like if a woman says she has to have techniques and understand how to serve and be a great wife and be a great woman, you have to understand how to lead and how to interact with women. So I would say educate yourself, work on your physique, and work on your pockets. So this way, when you're my age, it can be a lot easier, right? This was advice that nobody really sat me down and told me.
Thank you, man. Unfortunately, it's quite a struggle out here, to be honest, because, you know, you don't have that father figure at home. I grew up in a single mother household, and, you know, people that live in like a single mother household, we usually go on, you know, these social media platforms and find any kind of advice, because we haven't been given this advice when we were younger. So that's why I'm always on, you know, to hear just looking.
I stress to women to like find the right, like when it comes to having children, make sure you have children with the right men. I hate hearing like a lot of these women just openly have kids with people who just don't do what they're supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
But yeah, yeah, man, that's pretty much that for now. But anyway, guys, if you don't follow me, make sure you follow me, right? I'm be here just about every day. Alvin was here, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday. He can tell you I'm very consistent. I told you guys I want to do 200 podcast episodes this year. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you go on the YouTube channel. You know, sometimes TikToks tend to get deleted. So make sure you follow me on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to Patreon and subscribe to the podcast. The podcast is free. It's great information on there, all the things that you can learn for free. And just make sure you guys check out the relationship course. If you have a problem with your relationship, a lot of these things, just about everything that I say when it comes to choosing women is in there. So make sure you guys do that. And anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow around the same time. Consistency. Thank you, everybody who joined. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, my buddy from the UK. I'll holler at you. See you soon.
Stunning live you make, man. Keep up with that.
No problem. Thanks, man.